We discussed about the plus 1 biology topic chapter 2 biological classification. We can passing through the textbook with a clear note. In this first part of the text that denote two kingdom classification. In two kingdom classification, all plants included in kingdom Plantae and all animals included in kingdom Animalia. But there are lots of demerits in this two kingdom classification. There are some demerits of two kingdom classification. A large number of organisms, that means living beings, not included in either category, that is not included in Animalia and not included in Plantae. Second point, not distinguish between eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Not distinguish between eukaryotes and prokaryotes. What is the difference between eukaryotes and prokaryotes? Karyo means nucleus. Prokaryo means primitive nucleus and eukaryotes means cells with definite nucleus. We know the cells with cell wall or plasma membrane, then cytoplasm and nucleus. In case of eukaryotes, nuclear materials are surrounded by nuclear membrane. Such nucleus is known as eukaryotic nucleus. The animals with a clear nucleus is known as eukaryotes and animals with or cells with primitive nucleus, that is without nuclear membrane, is known as prokaryotes. Next point, next demerit, unicellular or multicellular. In two kingdom classification there is no clarity between the organisms may unicellular or may multicellular. Then photosynthetic or non-photosynthetic. In two kingdom classification there is no mention about the organisms are photosynthetic or non-photosynthetic. What is photosynthesis? All green plants produce organic material glucose by utilizing carbon dioxide and water in presence of sunlight is known as photosynthesis. The next topic, 5 kingdom classification. We discussed about the two kingdom classification and its demerits. Next, 5 kingdom classification. R.H. Vithagar introduced 5 kingdom classification. Based on 5 kingdom classification, there are 5 kingdoms. That is kingdom, first kingdom, that is the primitive kingdom, kingdom Monera. Next kingdom Protoctista. Third kingdom Fungi. Fourth kingdom Plantae. Then fifth kingdom Animalia. First kingdom Monera, that include bacteria and blue-green algae. Second Protoctista, protozoans and some unicellular algae included in Protoctista. All fungus and molds included in kingdom Fungi, and ferns, multicellular algae, mosses, cedar plants, etc. are included in kingdom Plantae. Then all animals, that means chordates or non-chordates. Animals with notochord is included in chordates and animals without a notochord in their life cycle is included in non-chordates. These non-chordates and chordates are included in kingdom Animalia or kingdom Animalae. Then there are some features of 5 kingdom classification. We can classify that. First, name of kingdom, nature of nucleus of the cells or organisms. They are unicellular or multicellular kind of nutrition. Kingdom Monera. First, Kingdom Monera. Name of kingdom Monera. They include bacteria and blue-green algae. Nature of nucleus. Prokaryotic. This kingdom Monera only include prokaryotic organisms. Prokaryote means nucleus without nuclear membrane or cell without nuclear membrane. They included in unicellular group. Unicellular. Mostly unicellular. Some exceptional cases, that is in case of some cyanobacteria, that is branched or colonial forms. Then kind of nutrition in case of Monera, diverse type of nutrition. Maybe photosynthetic, saprotrophic or parasitic. That means diverse type of nutrition. Next kingdom, kingdom Protoctista. Some unicellular algae and protozoas. Examples of protozoas, amoeba, paramecia, euglena, etc. are included in kingdom Protoctista. All of them are eukaryotic cells with a definite nucleus. They are unicellular. All members of Protoctistans are unicellular members. They also show diverse kind of nutrition. Next kingdom, kingdom Fungi. Kingdom Fungi includes unicellular and multicellular fungal groups and molds. All of them are eukaryotic. They may unicellular or may multicellular. Yeast is an example of unicellular organism. Rhizopus is an example of multicellular organism. They are saprophytes. What is saprophytic type of nutrition? The members grown on dead decay materials and utilize the nutrition from the dead decay materials. Kingdom Plantae include all green plants. All of them are eukaryotic, multicellular. Autotrophs. They produce their own food through the process photosynthesis. Next, fifth kingdom, kingdom Animalae. All animals are included. Eukaryotic members, multicellular and heterotrophic. Then we can study detail about kingdom Monera. Bacteria are the sole members of kingdom Monera. The first kingdom, kingdom Monera, bacteria are the sole members. The habitat consists of hot springs, deserts, snow, deep oceans, soil, ecto and endoparasitic conditions also seen. What is the meaning of habitat? Habitat means the place where the organisms are living. That is means habitats. The habitats of bacteria varies from springs, deserts, snow, deep ocean, soil, and they also parasites. That means ecto or endoparasites. Parasites utilize food from other organisms. They live inside or outside the body of the organism. Based on the shape, bacteria are classified under 4 groups. These are the pictures of bacteria. Coccus, Bacilli, Spirilla, and Vibrio. The spherical shaped known as coccus, rod shaped bacillus, comma shaped Vibrium, spiral shaped Spirillum. Then nutritional categories. 4 nutritional categories found in bacteria. 4 nutritional categories found in bacteria are autotrophs. Autotrophic bacteria synthesize their own food materials. Then next, saprotrophs feed on dead organic matter. Next, symbionts use food from other organisms with which they are associated for mutual benefit. Use food from other organisms with which they are associated with for mutual benefits. Examples: lichens and mycorrhiza. Parasites absorb food from living organisms and cause harm to the host. Absorb food from the host and living, then they cause disease to the host. Then we can classify bacteria. First type of bacteria, Archaebacteria. Archaebacteria. Archaebacteria includes bacteria that live in unusual environments. Archaebacteria include bacteria that live in unusual environment, particularly at a low level of oxygen. Main type of archaebacteria are methanogenic bacteria, bacteria that live in sewage and intestinal tract of animals. In presence of methane, they can survive. Methanogenic bacteria live in sewage and intestinal tract of animals. Second group of archaebacteria are thermoacidophilic bacteria. Bacteria that live in hot springs. They can survive in hot springs. Then third, halophilic bacteria. They are also included in archaebacteria. Bacteria which live in salty conditions are known as halophilic bacteria. Next category, eubacteria. What is eubacteria? Eubacteria means true bacteria. They have rigid cell wall. If motiles, some members can move. If this type of motile, flagellum also seen. Kingdom Monera include 3 groups. Kingdom Monera include 3 groups: Archaebacteria, eubacteria and cyanobacteria. From this group, we already discussed about archaebacteria. There are 3 types of archaebacteria. We already discussed about that. Then difference between eubacteria or true bacteria with cyanobacteria. Difference between true bacteria and cyanobacteria. This column include the characters of true bacteria and this cyanobacteria. True bacteria with small cells may or may not have flagella. Some members have flagella. Some green bacteria carry out photosynthesis. There are some green bacteria that included in true bacteria. They conduct photosynthesis and release oxygen. That means anoxygenic bacteria. Anoxygenic bacteria. Fourth point is sexual recombination by conjugation in some bacteria. In reproduction, sexual recombination, that means conjugation, is shown in some true bacteria. Next point, rhizobium and acetobacter are examples of chemosynthetic autotrophs. What is chemosynthetic autotrophs? They attain energy without depending other organisms. That means autotrophs. But they are chemosynthetic. What is chemosynthetic? They split the inorganic components and utilize energy from that matters. They oxidize various inorganic substances such as nitrates, nitrites and ammonia are used to release energy and their ATP production. They oxidize various inorganic substances. Examples of inorganic substances such as nitrates, nitrites and ammonia. They oxidize these material and use the released energy from their ATP production. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. It is a cell organelle. ATP is usually seen in mitochondria. In mitochondria, energy is stored in the form of adenosine triphosphate. Next, characters of cyanobacteria. Comparatively larger cells do not have flagella. They all carry out photosynthesis and release oxygen. So they are oxygenic. All carry out photosynthesis. They have photosynthetic pigments and they have the capability for photosynthesis and release oxygen, the end product oxygen. So they are also oxygenic bacteria. Then sexual recombination has been observed in some cyanobacteria. They may be unicellular or colonial or filamentous forms. They may be unicellular, colonial, they make a colony, or some of them are filamentous. This is the picture of filamentous blue-green algae nostoc. This is the picture of blue-green algae or cyanobacteria nostoc. Here we can see heterocytes. By the help of heterocytes, they can photosynthesize. Then one of the point, mycoplasma are organisms completely lack of cell wall. Mycoplasma are a group of organisms, they completely lack cell wall. There is no cell wall present in mycoplasma group. Next, kingdom Protista. This is the picture of bacterium. Next part, kingdom Protista. Kingdom Protista. Classification of kingdom Protista. There are different types of members in kingdom Protista. Plant-like, fungi-like and animal-like protistas are seen. Plant-like, fungi-like and animal-like. In plant-like, Pyrophyta, Chrysophyta, Euglenophyta. Pyrophyta, Chrysophyta and Euglenophyta included in plant-like protozoa. Then Myxomycota and Acrasiomycota. Myxomycota and Acrasiomycota included in fungi-like prototista. Third, animal-like protista. amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated. These three types included in animal-like protistans. Then next part, chrysophytes. We can discuss about chrysophytes. Example, diatoms and desmids. Golden algae. Diatoms and desmids are included in chrysophytes. The characters include they are found in fresh and salt water and also in soil. They are found in fresh water, salt water and in soil. Some species act as food for aquatic animals. Example, diatoms. Diatoms are the main species that the food for other aquatic animals like fishes. They may either unicellular, colonial or filamentous. They may be, some members are unicellular, some of them colonial and some of them are filamentous forms. Plastids, cell wall and silica are present. Plastids means there are different types of plastids. Chloroplast, chromoplast, aleuroplast like plastids. Here the plastids means the plastid cells for food production. Maybe chloroplast or chromoplast. The cell wall of these members, silica is present on the cell wall. Silica is present on the cell wall of these members. The siliceous deposit of diatoms. Diatoms looks like a soap box. There are silica is seen on the cell wall. The siliceous deposit of diatoms result the formation of diatomaceous earth. After death and decaying of the diatoms, they sediment under the part of rivers. Such sediments are known as diatomaceous earth. These diatomaceous earth materials are used as filters or syrup, fruits, juice, etc. Tonic, syrups, etc. Used as a filter and for lining of furnaces, heat furnaces. The diatomaceous earths used as filters and also used for lining of furnaces. Next group, dinoflagellates. This is an example of a dinoflagellate. Then the characters include mostly marine and photosynthetic. Most of the members are marine and have the capability of photosynthesis. They appear yellow, green, brown, blue or red. Depends upon the pigment, photosynthetic pigment present in it. Most of them have two flagella. Most of them have two flagella that helps for movement. A transverse furrow seen between the wall plates. This is the transverse groove. The transverse furrow or groove seen between the wall plates. Example, red dinoflagellate is Goniolax. They make red tides. Toxin may present. Goniolax. Next, euglenoids. Here is a picture of the member euglena. Euglena is a member of euglenoid. This is the picture. Then we can study the main features. Majority of the euglenoids are freshwater organisms. A protein-rich pellicle seen on body wall. A tough proteinaceous pellicle seen on the body wall. Two flagella, one short and one long. They are photosynthetic in presence of sunlight and heterotrophic in absence of sunlight. At the presence of sunlight, they conduct photosynthesis and produce their own food material. And in the absence of sunlight, they help for other organisms for their food supplement. The green pigment of euglenoid are identical to higher plants. That is, photosynthetic pigment of green plants are identical to the pigment of euglenoids. Example, euglena. Next, slime mold. Slime molds. This is a picture of simple picture or diagram of slime mold. Then we can categorize the character. They are saprophytic protists. They are saprophytic protists. What is saprophytes? They grow on dead decay materials and utilize the food from that decay material. They are totally saprophytic organisms. Body move along decaying twigs and leaves and engulfing organic material. They creep on decaying twigs, leaves and engulf the organic material. That engulfing means swallowing. Under suitable condition, that presence of water and sunlight, they form an aggregation called plasmodium. They aggregate, the members aggregate or the body parts grows to form plasmodium structure. They grow and spread over several feet. Under suitable condition, the slime molds aggregate, then they called plasmodium stage. They grow and this plasmodium grow and spread over several feet in height. During unfavorable condition, fruiting bodies arise on tip of plasmodium. During unfavorable condition, fruiting bodies, that is spores bearing bodies, arise on the tip. These spores are extremely resistant to adverse condition and survive many years. These spores are survive many years. Spores dispersed by air. Next topic, protozoans. Protozoans. Then classification of phylum Protozoa. There are mainly four classes. First class Rhizopoda, second Flagellata, third Ciliata and fourth Sporozoa. The phylum Protozoa with numerous members. So they are under different classes. They are arranged under different classes. First class Rhizopoda. Example, amoeba and entamoeba are included in class Rhizopoda of phylum Protozoa. Then Euglena, Trypanosoma, etc. members are included in class Flagellata under phylum Protozoa. Then Paramecium is a member of class Ciliata. Then Sporozoa, that means Plasmodium is the member of class Sporozoa. All protozoans are heterotrophs. All protozoans are heterotrophs. What is the meaning of heterotrophs? They can't prepare their own food material. Heterotrophs can't prepare their own food material. They are depends directly or indirectly on other organisms for food. What is the meaning of heterotrophs? Heterotrophs cannot prepare their own food material. They are depends directly or indirectly on other organisms or food. Or the protozoans live as predators or parasites. Predators, they catch the prey and utilize for nutrition, that is predator, or some of them are parasites. They utilize the nutrition of the host and harmful to the host. Such organisms are included in parasites. Next point, amoeboid protozoans move and capture their prey by using pseudopodia. Example, amoeba. Pseudopodia, podia means foot, pseudo false. Entamoeba cause dysentery in human, that is a parasite. We know the structure of amoeba. Ectoplasm, endoplasm, food vacuoles, nucleus, etc. This is the pseudopodia. If here is a prey, the pseudopodia cover the prey by changing the structure of pseudopodia. Amoeboid protozoans move and capture their prey using pseudopodia. Pseudopodia is true plasma membrane that can move in different positions. Another member that included in amoeboid group, that is entamoeba. Entamoeba is one type of amoeba that cause dysentery in humans. The species Entamoeba histolytica that cause dysentery in human being. Next group, flagellated protozoans. They are free living. Flagellated protozoans are free living or parasitic. They have flagella. Example, trypanosoma. This is the diagram of trypanosoma. Cause disease, sleeping sickness. Flagellated protozoans are free living or parasitic. They have flagella for movement. Example, trypanosoma. Cause the disease, sleeping sickness. Next group, ciliated protozoans. Ciliated protozoans. Here the picture of paramecia. Ciliated protozoans, they may aquatic, actively moving organisms. They are aquatic, living in water, actively moving organisms. Presence of thousands of cilia all around the body. They have a gut cavity called gullet. This is the gullet. Gut cavity. Gullet open to outside of the body surface. That is paramecium. Example. Presence of thousands of cilia. They have a gut cavity called gullet open to outside of the body surface. Example, paramecium. Next, sporozoans. Sporozoans. These include diverse organisms. There are different types of sporozoans are there that have an infectious spore-like stage. All sporozoans have an infectious, that is disease causing spore-like stage in their life cycle. Example, Plasmodium cause malaria. This is the diagram of Plasmodium. There are three main different types of Plasmodiums cause malaria. Plasmodium falciparum is the dangerous species. Next, kingdom fungi. There are different types of members in kingdom fungi. We can discuss about different types of fungi. Kingdom fungi. There are some common characters. They are heterotrophic, depends on other organisms for nutrition, unicellular or multicellular. Example of unicellular member is yeast, and example of multicellular mushrooms and toadstools, and rhizopus, bread mold. Rhizopus, bread mold. Mushrooms are edible and toadstools are not edible. Mushrooms, toadstools, rhizopus, etc. are examples of multicellular fungus and unicellular member yeast. All of them are heterotrophic. They depends upon other organisms for their food requirement. Then cell wall is made up of chitin. The cell wall is made up of chitin and polysaccharides. Hyphae. This single thread-like structure is known as hyphae. Hyphae forming network called mycelium. Number of hyphae intercoiled to form mycelia. Hyphae with septal pores. If we take a section of hypha, CS of hypha, we can see pores on septal part. Here we can see incomplete partition walls between the cells. We take the section of this septal part. There are numerous pores are seen on this septa. So free cytoplasmic streaming seen throughout the hyphae. So also more than one nucleus seen in cells. This condition is known as xenocity condition. The hyphal wall is made up of chitin and polysaccharide, and there is incomplete septa or cell walls, partition walls are seen in hyphae. There are numerous pores seen on these septas. So cytoplasmic streaming continuously passing through this hyphae. Then also xenocity condition, that is more than one nucleus seen in each and every nucleus. Kinds of fungi. There are different kinds of fungi. First, myxomycetes. Example, slime molds. Second, phycomycetes, unicellular or branched. Example, rhizopus and phytophthora. Next, ascomycetes, one-celled. Example, yeast or multicellular branched Aspergillus, Penicillium, Neurospora. Next group, basidiomycetes, multicellular branched mushrooms, toadstools. Then rusts and smuts are included in basidiomycetes. Next, deuteromycetes. They are multicellular filamentous which reproduce only by asexually. Example, alternaria. Next, lichens and mycorrhiza. These are special groups. Lichens and mycorrhiza are special groups which exist in symbiotic association. Once again, myxomycetes, example, slime molds. Phycomycetes, include unicellular or branched members, examples rhizopus and phytophthora, ascomycetes, single-celled, example yeast, or multi-celled or branched, examples aspergillus, penicillium and neurospora. Next, basidiomycetes, multicellular branched, mushrooms, toadstools, then rusts and smuts. Deuteromycetes, multicellular filamentous which reproduce only by asexually. Example Alternaria. Last group, special group, lichens and mycorrhizae which exist in symbiotic association. That means they are associated with some algal members. For mutual benefit. Mycorrhiza seen on the root system of huge plants. Lichens are associated with algal partner. Then next character, reproduction. Vegetative, asexual and sexual reproduction are common. Means vegetative reproduction, fragmentation, fission and budding. Fragmentation, fission and budding are means of vegetative reproduction. That's seen in fungi. Asexual means of reproduction. Spores called conidia, sporangiophores or zoospores. Asexual means spore formation. That means conidia, sporangiospores or zoospores are common types of spores. Sexual reproduction means conjugation. Sexual reproduction means conjugation. There are different types of spores, conidial spores, sporangiospores and zoospores. That is asexual means of reproduction. Then vegetative, fragmentation, fission and budding. The sexual reproduction involves 3 steps. If we take the sexual reproduction, there are mainly 3 steps. The sexual reproduction involves 3 steps. First, fusion of protoplasms between 2 mobile or non-mobile gametes called plasmogamy. Fusion of, here is a example. Sexual reproduction, that is conjugation, seen in rhizopus. This is an example of sexual reproduction that is seen in rhizopus. That is also known as conjugation. Here, fusion of protoplasm between 2 motile or non-motile gametes called plasmogamy. Then fusion of nuclei called karyogamy. Karyo means nucleus, gamy means fusion, plasmogamy. Plasma means protoplasm, gamy means fusion. First protoplasmic fusion conducted, then karyo means nuclear fusion seen. Meiosis in zygote resulting in haploid spores. We should notice the point: algae, fungi and bryophytes. In all these groups, the plant body is haploid. Plant body is haploid, half number of chromosomes. In algae, fungi and bryophytes, the plant body is haploid. So, this is the hyphae of rhizopus. They are the cells with different physiology. Physiologically different. Physiology means cell components. Different physiological hyphae are, that is plus and minus, come close. The cells are haploid. This is the hyphae. This is the fruiting body or hyphal part. This is known as progametes. The progametes are physiologically different. They come close together. Then next step, these gametes are fused. That is, the cytoplasm is fused, but nucleus not fused. Such condition is known as dikaryophase. Karyo means nucleus. Dikaryo means two nucleus in single structure. Dikaryophase, that means two nuclei in per cell. In this case, gametes are fused, but the first stage plasmogamy is only take place. Cytoplasmic fusion of two gametes took place, but nucleus are free. That is dikaryophase. Then the next stage, karyogamy, that is fusion of nucleus. That means zygote formation, that is diploid. Hyphae are haploid, progametes are haploid. Then the cytoplasm fused, independent, two nuclei haploid. Then in next stage, these karyogamy means these two nuclei, haploid two nuclei fused to form diploid zygote. From the zygote, meiosis or reduction division take place. In zygote, meiosis or reduction division take place and form 4 haploid cells. 4 haploid cells. From all haploid part, haploid promycelium are formed. Once again, physiologically different two hyphal parts are close together, coming close. That is known as progametes. Then plasmogamy occurs. Here the protoplasm of these progametes fused, but nucleus are independent. Such case is known as dikaryophase, cell with two nucleus. Then next stage, karyogamy, that is fusion of two haploid nucleus took place and form diploid zygote. Then in zygotic case, meiotic division or meiosis take place and form 4 haploid cells. From each and every 4 parts, promycelium or new plant part is arising. This is also haploid. These 4 of them are haploid. These are the other structures. Budding, the yeast, the reproduction is budding. This rhizopus. This is the sexual reproduction of this rhizopus. But it is the asexual mode of reproduction, that is spore formation. Sporangiophores are produced in rhizopus. This is the mycelial part. This is rhizoid. Rhizoid, not root. Then this is sporangiophores. These are sporangium. This is a ruptured sporangium. A thick part known as columella. These are the sporangiophores. This is asexual mode of reproduction in rhizopus. This is the sexual mode of reproduction in rhizopus. This is the structure of penicillium. Conidiospores are produced in penicillium. This is conidiophore. Conidiophore. These bead-like structures are conidiospores. Then we discussed about some harmful and useful fungi. First, harmful fungi. Puccinia graminis, that also known as wheat rust, cause brown patches in leaves of wheat. That is harmful fungi. Rhizopus. This is the rhizopus, that known as bread mold, spoil food materials. They grown on the substratum of bread, chapati like materials. Then ringworms and athlete's foods are causing human body. Ringworms cause human skin disease and also athlete's foods also example of skin disease. These also two harmful fungi that cause disease in human case, ringworms and athlete's foods. These two cases are in case of plants. These two cases denotes human case. Next, we already discussed about harmful fungi. Next, beneficial fungi. There are lots of beneficial fungus are also seen. Mushrooms, that is Agaricus campestris, are edible. Edible mushrooms are known as Agaricus campestris. Can eat. Mycorrhizae. Mycorrhizae associated with the roots of plants. It is a symbiotic association with trees. Roots get minerals from environment, while fungi get food from plants. We categorize mycorrhiza under special group. Mycorrhizae associated with the root system of plants. It is a symbiotic association with trees. Roots get minerals from environment, while fungi get food from plants. Next, beneficial fungi, Neurospora, has been a favorite environmental material in genetics. In genetics, Neurospora used as a study material. Then antibiotics. Certain members of fungi produce antibiotics. Example, penicillin obtained from penicillin. The antibiotic penicillin obtained from Penicillium notatum. The species Penicillium notatum. We extract penicillin antibiotic from Penicillium notatum. Based on the kind of spores produced, fungi get the name. Example, ascomycetes produce ascospores, basidiomycetes produce basidiospores. Then we can categorize the fungi in different groups. First, phycomycetes. Phycomycetes. Habitat: aquatic, decayed wood, moist and damp places. Sexual reproduction take place by zoospores. Zoospores are motile, have the capability to movement, or aplanospores, non-motile. Asexual reproduction of phycomycetes include asexual reproduction take place by zoospores or aplanospores. The spores produced in sporangium. Spores are the reproductive parts produced in sporangium. The spores germinate into next generation. In sexual reproduction, zoospores formed by fusion of morphologically similar gametes, that means isogamy, or dissimilar means anisogamy or oogamy. In case of phycomycetes, the spores are produced in sporangium. In sexual reproduction, zoospores formed by fusion of morphologically similar gamete is known as isogamous, or dissimilar type. There is two types of dissimilar, that is anisogamous or oogamous. Example, mucor, rhizopus and albugo. Albugo is a parasitic form of or parasitic fungus on mustard. Next group, ascomycetes or sac fungi. Example, multicellular penicillium or unicellular yeast. Saccharomycetes, there are different varieties, species of Saccharomycetes. Multicellular case penicillium, unicellular case yeast. They are also known as sac fungi. They show saprophytic, decomposing or parasitic or coprophilous mode of nutrition. Some members are saprophytic. They grow on dead decay material. Some of them are decomposers. They split organic materials and utilize energy from it. Some of them are parasitic. They live inside or outside the body of host, or coprophilous. Some of them grown on dung, cow dung, like nutrition. There are different types of nutritious, that is saprophytic, decomposing and parasitic or coprophilous mode of nutrition are seen in ascomycetes. The asexual spores are conidia. The asexual spores are conidia. We already discussed in case of penicillium, conidia. The asexual spores are conidia produced on conidiophores. The sexual spores called ascospores produced in sac-like asci. These asci arranged in different types of rooting bodies called ascocarps. The asexual spores are conidiophores produced on conidiophores. The sexual spores called ascospores produced in sac-like asci. These asci arranged in different types of rooting bodies called ascocarps. Some examples are Aspergillus, claviceps and neurospora. Aspergillus, claviceps and neurospora are examples. Next group, basidiomycetes. Basidiomycetes. Example, mushrooms, bracket fungi, that is also known as puffballs. Examples of parasites, rusts and smuts. Here mycelium is branched. Asexual spores usually not found. Asexual spores usually not found in case of basidiomycetes. Vegetative reproduction by fragmentation, that is each and every single pieces can produce next generation, that is fragmentation. Sex organs are absent. Sex organs are absent. Plasmogamy, fusion of cytoplasm brought about by fusion of two somatic cells with different physiology or genotype. We already discussed in case of Rhizopus. Then dikaryotic basidium arise. Karyogamy, fusion of nucleus and meiosis take place in basidium. 4 basidiospores, that is haploid, are formed. Basidiospores are exogenously, that is outside the fungal body on basidium. Basidium are arranged in rooting bodies called basidiocarps. This is like the case of Rhizopus, but some differences we can notice. This is the picturesque explanation of sexual reproduction in basidiomycetes. That is not a true sexual reproduction. In case of mushrooms, Istilago, smut and Puccinia are examples of basidiomycetes. Here we can see fusion of physiologically different somatic cells. Fusion of physiologically different somatic cells, that is haploid. 2 of them are haploid. Plant body is also haploid. We already discussed that all algae, fungi and bryophytes plant body is haploid. Then plasmogamy, cytoplasm, fusion of cytoplasm with free 2 nucleus, that is dikaryotic stage. Then fusion of nuclei, karyogamy take place. Then zygote formation, that is diploid to an Then meiosis takes place in this zygote to form 4 basidiospores. 4 haploid basidiospores arranged on basidium. This is the group of basidiums, that is exogenous in origin. Next, deuteromycetes. Deuteromycetes. The last group of fungus, deuteromycetes. Deuteromycetes, they are imperfect fungi. They are also known as imperfect fungi because without sexual reproduction, only vegetative and asexual phases are known. If the members of deuteromycetes found to have sexual stage in future, then they are moved to ascomycete group or basidiomycetes. Again, deuteromycetes are also known as imperfect fungi because without sexual reproduction, only vegetative and asexual phases are known. Here is an important point in future. If the members of deuteromycetes found to have sexual stages, then they are moved to the category ascomycetes and basidiomycetes. Deuteromycetes reproduce only by asexual spores, that is conidia. They discussed about conidia. They have separate branched mycelium. Septate branched mycelium. We know what is septa. Some of them are saprophytes or parasites. Large number of them are decomposers. They split organic materials. Example, Alternaria, Coletriticum and Trichoderma are examples of deuteromycetes. Next part of the textbook, Kingdom Plantae. Then Kingdom Animalia. Last part, virus, viroids, prions and lichens. Now we discussed about Kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae. They are eukaryotic, that is cells with a definite nucleus with a chlorophyll. They are autotrophs. Few members are partially heterotrophic, that is insectivorous plants, and in case of parasites, parasitic plants. In case of insectivorous plants and parasitic plants, they are partially heterotrophic. They attach on the host plant and take some nutrition from the host plant, but partially they produce their own food material through photosynthesis. Examples of insectivorous plants, that is partially heterotrophic plants, Venus flytrap and bladderworts in water. This is water plant. This is grown on rocky areas. Then Cuscuta, a complete parasite, and Sandalum, example of semi-parasitic plant. Then classification of Plantae. There are mainly 4 groups. Plantae classified to bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms are included in Kingdom Plantae. Life cycle of Plantae shows alternation of generation, that is diploid vegetative phase alternative with haploid reproductive phase. What is alternation of generation? That is diploid to an vegetative phase alternative with haploid reproductive phase. Next, Kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia. Some features are there. They are heterotrophic. They depend upon other organisms directly or indirectly for their food requirement. They are eukaryotic cells with a definite nucleus. Organisms are multicellular. All of them are multicellular. They directly or indirectly depend on plants for food. They are heterotrophic. They directly or indirectly depend on plants for their food requirement. They show internal digestion. Digestion take place inside the body. Store food reserves as glycogen and fat. Glycogen and fat are the reserve food that store in the body. Mode of nutrition holozoic. That means injection of food. Food take inside the body and digestion take place inside the body. Show definite growth patterns. That is fetal, then young ones, early childhood, late childhood, adolescent, adulthood and old age. Have sensory and neuromotor mechanism. They have a well developed neural part. Next category, viroids, viruses, viroids, prions and lichens. In Five Kingdom classification, Vidakar not mentioned about lichens and some acellular organisms like virus, viroids and prions. Lichens are cellular organisms. Vidakar not mentioned about lichens and some acellular organisms like viruses, viroids and prions. What is virus? Virus stands between living and non-living. They become live or active inside the protoplasm of other organisms. Otherwise, they can store as crystalline form. A virus with a protein coat and a core material. Here is a picture of virus. This is the bacteriophage and this is tobacco mosaic virus. The basic part of a virus include protein coat and a core material. The core material may be RNA or DNA. If the core material is RNA, the virus is known as retrovirus or DNA virus. Protein coat called capsid. This is the protein coat is known as capsid and this is the RNA material. This is retrovirus. Tobacco mosaic virus is an example of retrovirus. This is a bacteriophage that attack bacterial stage and multiply inside the bacteria. That's so known as bacteriophage. Virus cause disease like mumps, smallpox, herpes and influenza in human case. In plants, they cause mosaic disease, leaf rolling, yellowing, stunted growth like diseases. Next group, viroids. It was found to be a free RNA. It was found to be a free RNA. Lack of protein coat. There is no protein coat. They are virus-like organisms. RNA with low molecular weight. Viroids are like virus, but there is no protein coat is seen in case of viroids. Their core material is RNA. Then the last parts, prions. Prions. In modern medicine, some infectious neurological diseases were found to be transmitted by an agent. In modern medicine, some infectious neurological diseases were found to be transmitted by an agent consisting of abnormally folded protein. The most notable disease caused by prions are bovine spongiform encephalopathy, bovine spongiform encephalopathy BSE, and that is also known as mad cow disease of cows. Next, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, that is also known as CJD in humans. The last part, lichens. Lichens. It is a symbiotic association of algae and fungi. The algal partner, usually unicellular green algae, algal partner are known as phycobiont and fungal partner is known as mycobiont. Fungi provide shelter and algae provide food to the fungal partner. Lichens are the symbiotic association of an algal partner and a fungal partner. Algal partners are usually unicellular green algae. They get a protection from the fungal within the fungal hyphae, and a fungus get a food from algal partner.